A few hours after Israel launched one of its most aggressive airstrikes against a strategic site in Iran, the world was left wondering, how would Tehran respond? The answer came quickly. That same night, Israel's air defense systems were pushed to their limits. From western Iran, hundreds of missiles and drones were fired simultaneously toward Israel's heart. Tel Aviv, long seen as a symbol of economic strength and stability, became one of the main targets. What was truly shocking wasn't just the sheer number of projectiles, but also the speed and precision with which the attack was coordinated. Within minutes, radar screens lit up across the country. Thousands of civilians rushed to shelters. The events of that night not only shook Israel but also sent a powerful message to the rest of the world. This conflict has entered a new phase. Tensions between Israel and Iran are nothing new, but this latest escalation began when Israel, quietly backed by the United States and its allies, carried out airstrikes on several sites across Iran. Targets included nuclear facilities, military bases, and key communication centers. Reports indicated that some Iranian scientists and officials were among the casualties, with justifying the strikes by accusing Iran of accelerating its nuclear weapons program. However, no concrete evidence was presented before these attacks took place. Even the IAEA, the world's nuclear watchdog, has yet to release an official statement confirming any serious violations by Iran. In other words, the accusations lack solid proof. Many analysts have described Israel's actions as a unilateral provocation rather than a genuine attempt at prevention. These strikes were carried out without international approval. Iran called the operation an act of open aggression, insisting on its right to defend its sovereignty. In retaliation, Iran launched over 150 ballistic missiles, including Shahab-3 and Sejil models at Israel, along with around 100 kamikaze drones and reconnaissance aircraft. The barrage targeted multiple strategic locations: Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Negev, military bases, and infrastructure in Ashdod and Be'er Sheva. Early field reports indicated that dozens of missiles penetrated the Iron Dome defenses and struck several cities. In Tel Aviv, smoke billowed from industrial zones and explosions rocked the city's southern districts. Sirens blared continuously. Residents in Ashkelon and Netivot fled to bunkers. Several buildings were destroyed. Fires broke out in residential areas. Ambulances and rescue teams raced through the streets. In Jerusalem, thunderous booms and flashes of light illuminated the night sky, highlighting the intensity of the aerial battle. Although most projectiles were intercepted, the sheer volume of the attack overwhelmed the defense systems. The Israeli military admitted that this was one of the most complex and coordinated assaults they had ever faced. To respond, Israel deployed all its top air defense systems, from the Iron Dome and David's Sling to the Arrow series. Israel's allies, the United States, Britain, and France, joined the effort, providing satellite surveillance, regional radar support, and even intercepting some missiles from US bases in the Middle East. The Israeli government claimed that about 80 to 85% of the incoming missiles were successfully shot down. This demonstrates the effectiveness of their systems. However, Iran's military told a different story. According to Tehran, dozens of ballistic missiles struck command centers, military infrastructure, and critical industrial sites in Tel Aviv. They even released videos and satellite images that they claimed proved real damage at several key locations. Some independent analysts have acknowledged the possibility of significant destruction in certain areas, though it remains unclear whether this was caused by direct missile hits or debris from intercepted projectiles. What is clear is that Israel's defense system is no longer flawless. Massive, simultaneous attacks like this have exposed its vulnerabilities. The world now sees that even the most advanced technology can be overwhelmed by a sudden, large-scale assault. The UN Security Council quickly convened an emergency meeting. The United States urged Israel to avoid excessive retaliation while still voicing support for Israel's right to self-defense. Meanwhile, Russia and China called for an immediate ceasefire. Countries such as Qatar and the United Arab Emirates expressed concern over the risk of the conflict spreading throughout the region. The US president held emergency talks with intelligence and military leaders. Human rights organizations began preparing for a possible refugee crisis should the war escalate further. This attack revealed a crucial fact. Iran now has the capability to launch long-range strikes with impressive accuracy and volume. They can orchestrate complex attacks using drones, missiles, and overwhelming firepower, enough to disrupt even the best defense systems. For Israel, despite intercepting most of the missiles, the psychological and strategic impact was significant. Looking ahead, threats may come not just from Iran, but also from Hezbollah in the north or other Iranian-backed groups in Iraq and Syria. In short, a new era of high-tech asymmetric warfare has begun. Iran has made it clear that it will not remain passive if attacked. Now Israel faces a critical decision: retaliate even harder or pursue the path of diplomacy. The world holds its breath, hoping that the next move will be towards dialogue, not another missile launch. Yet, as history has shown in the Middle East, the hope for peace too often depends on who fires the last shot. This video is intended for educational and informational purposes, based on balanced facts and analysis. We do not promote violence, hatred, or hate speech against any group. All content complies with YouTube's policies on hate speech, violence, and misinformation, as well as relevant laws, YouTube community guidelines,